Welcome to Positive Filter with your host, Philip Wilkerson, a podcast that focuses on friends, family, health, and career with a little self-help around the way. Please join me in this journey for self-improvement, and I hope that what I have to share will make you a better person, thus making the world a better place. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Philip Wilkerson back with another episode of Positive Filter. I'm joined by a very special guest. Everyone is a special guest to me because you're my family or friends, whatever, and I get you on the podcast. I'm joined by Mohammed Kamal. I hope I said it right because you know what? I even said my own name wrong. Now, as you know, I'm Ill Phil, a.k.a. the Prince of Positivity, a.k.a. Love Everybody, a.k.a. I Can't Tie My Own Shoes. Do you have any AKAs? Any aliases?
No, not really. Back in the day, people used to call me Mo Camel or something like
Mo
that.
Camel?
Yeah.
Well, I was about to call you Moo Moo, so it makes sense.
I used to go by Momo as well. So
Momo, that's
Yeah.
it. My man Momo. And so he used to work with me. He's one of our student workers, or was past student workers. And he said, "Yo, Phil, I want to get on the podcast." And I said, "Okay." That's usually about as much it takes to be a guest. But I said, you know what? If you're going to be on my podcast, you got to develop the topic and think about what you want to talk about. And then he already immediately said, let's talk about my transfer student experience, which I was like, dope, because I share that same experience. So for the listeners, just a quick, tell the listeners a little bit about your journey up until this point. But please don't have to do the whole, I was born 2 years old, all the way here. More like the journey between high school to this point right now.
All right. So in high school, during my senior year, there was this counselor that came in with this program called Pathway Program. Mm-hmm. I told them, why not join? I'm gonna spend 2 years at Nova anyway, so might as well just join that. Get 2 years within that program. Mm-hmm. Signed up, got accepted, got into Nova, did the whole 2 years thing. And then by the time my 2 years was up, which was in 2016, I decided I wanted to go to Mason, and I told my counselor I wanted to go there because the Pathway Program was actually based off Mason.
Oh, so it was geared toward Mason, the Pathways Program.
Yeah, so Mason started it, basically.
So, but with the Pathways Program, you still made a decision to go to Mason as opposed to another school in Virginia.
Right, yeah.
Okay, why?
Not just for convenience-wise, but I had family that came here too.
Okay.
So and plus, I liked the business program that they had here.
Okay.
So that's why I chose Mason.
Okay, so you're in the Pathways Program. You had, in this episode, definitely is about transfer. I have my own transfer experience.
Right.
But you're in the Pathways Program. Was there ever a moment where you was like, yo, I'm cool just getting an associate's, or in the back of your mind you knew you was going to do boom, boom, both?
I knew in the back of my head that I wanted to get my bachelor's. I had to get my bachelor's. So that's basically my motivation to go to Nova and Mason.
So, because I used to work in admissions, and I've seen a lot of the students fall through the trap of thinking, they don't even have the vision. So they're all, like, if you don't even know what the college world's like, you kind of get stuck in that kind of purgatory of 2-year schools.
Right.
But the ones that I saw that were a little bit more ambitious were the ones that came in as their first semester at a community college, saying, I know I'm just using this experience to get to some 4-year college.
Yeah.
For your understanding, your peers, did you see that kind of purgatory where you saw, because I knew I was going to go to Mason, I'm going to Mason, but maybe one of your classmates that you knew just kind of struggled a little bit more at Nova because they didn't have that I'm going to any insert school?
No, not when I was in Pathway Program, because I knew everybody in Pathway Program wanted to go to a 4-year school. Okay. And they pushed us actually to go to the 4-year school.
Yeah, so your peers in that thing did not have that opportunity. Did you see, did you interact with people outside of Pathways?
Yeah.
And did you see the difference between those two?
I don't think there was a difference, in my opinion. There
Okay.
wasn't a difference because the peers that I grew up with and the peers that I went to high school with,
Yeah.
they also had that same ambition to get that bachelor's degree.
Okay, so your peers were already good. Okay,
Yeah.
and that means that your circle's already like we're gonna go to Nova, and go to a 4-year. Or are you
Yeah.
the first person in your family to go to college?
I was, yes.
Okay, so what was your understanding of college in this 2-year process during those senior year of high school? Like, you said the counselor was giving you guidance.
Yeah.
When you would get the guidance from the counselor and went back to your parents, what were their thoughts? Like, just like, cool, it sounds organized?
Yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
When I went back to my parents, they didn't really see like me going to a 2-year school. They wanted me to go to a 4-year school.
Okay, yes.
But because of like, financial issues, and
Yes.
plus I didn't want to like fall into the trap of like college life and fraternities and all that. I wanted to stay home
Okay.
and like
Yes.
basically live a healthy life, but also look after my parents as well.
So you stayed at home on purpose to help them out.
Yeah.
Got you. And you said, okay, when you said that you knew other people have gone to 4-year and gone to Mason, you even said family. Were those like cousins or whatnot? Or
Uncles, aunts.
Yeah, you got the other family. So
Yeah.
how about when you explain this Pathways program to them? Would they know about this, or how did they give you some feedback?
They didn't know about it.
Gotcha. Okay.
They didn't know about it because I don't think Mason started it when they went to here. When they went
Okay.
here, it was a pretty new thing when I was in high school.
What'd you say? 2000 what? 16?
No. So I graduated high school in 2014.
Okay.
So I got introduced in 2014 to the Pathway program.
Gotcha. And if you mind me asking what country is your family from?
My whole family's from Bangladesh.
And so when did they come to United States in regards to education and all that? And so you said your aunts and uncles, they
Yeah.
came a little earlier in a different time and got their degrees, like in the 90s or whatever?
Earlier
2000.
than that.
Okay, earlier, okay.
Yeah. So I don't exactly remember when they came here,
Yeah.
but I believe it was like the 1970s, 1980s. Most of my uncles grew up here
Okay,
and
yep.
got their college degrees from Mason, UVA.
Yeah. All over Virginia, yeah.
Yeah. But those were the two main schools that they went to.
Gotcha.
Most of them went to UVA. I have an uncle that went all the way up to New Jersey
Yeah.
in Princeton.
Yeah.
He got his degree from there.
So you had some examples of the education system from family, aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
And but more like they went straight to the 4-year.
4-year,
as opposed
because
to
when they came here, they just wanted to learn some English.
Yes.
My mom came here when I was in like what, a year old or something like that.
Very young, okay.
She came here when I was very young. She didn't know a lick of English, so
Yeah.
she went to Nova to learn English.
So she knew about Nova, but more like the English learning programs, not like
The ESL program.
ESL
over there.
program,
So
yeah.
she just went there to learn the English language and
Yeah.
basically carry a conversation in English.
Yeah.
So that's why she went to Nova. That's
Gotcha.
That's basically how I know Nova is
Yeah.
through my mom.
Through your mom, what campus do you mostly go to?
Annandale.
Okay. So you're around this area, you're going, you got family, and you're staying at home.
Yeah.
And you're balancing. Were you working full time when you were at Nova?
No.
So what was your typical day like? If for instance, what was your typical day like as a student, and not really that? I'm not saying Nova doesn't have a campus life, but it's not a traditional. It's a 4-year, 2-year college, so it's not like as much, stuff and fairs and all kinds of stuff on. So what was a day like at the community college when you were purposely saying I'm staying home to help my family?
So my typical day-to-day would be I would have class in the morning.
Yeah.
So around like 9:30,
Uh-huh.
I'd go to class for about an hour and a half.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a job at Nova,
Okay.
which was working at the library as a library assistant.
Yeah, so you had to, okay, got it.
I was a part-time job. I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
It was really relaxing. There was no like hard type lifting, no stress on the body and stuff like that.
She said hard job, and you said the first thing you said was lifting on the body. That's funny. Like what you, yo, that's funny. It's like, no, that's a hard job. No lifting on the body.
Hey,
man, I get what you're saying.
My first job was working on a car wash. So it
Yeah,
was,
okay, so okay, there we go. That's why you got the explanation. You got to tell
Yeah.
me like you're measuring your library job to your car wash job. Okay,
Yeah.
now I see like it was an Easy job. I got you. So
Yeah.
so you're chilling at the library, you're
Yeah.
doing that,
Yeah.
and then what else would you do?
At the library, what I would do is I would help students check out books and stuff like that. Make sure all the media equipment was good. See what books I needed to take out of the system, or like.
But you would do a lot of library like
stuff.
library assistant stuff.
Yeah.
And then was that the end of the day, or you go back to class afterwards?
That was the end of the day. So
And
all my classes were in the morning.
So boom, boom, you're done.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty sweet deal.
It is. It was.
Was it and so you're doing that, you're working, doing that, you're staying at home. Did you feel like, obviously you have your friends, your peers, did you feel like by doing that, the work, school, home, when you look at your friends that went to a 4-year off the break, did you feel like you were missing out on anything?
Yeah. So, when I went, so most of my friends, they had like they had the 4-year college thing, and they used to live in dorms. So I missed out on that part.
I mean, when I say you missed out, like, how did you know? Like, did you go visit them, or just see on Instagram, or how you
see it on Instagram and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, mostly on social media.
Social media. That's when you knew you were not the same. Like, when I say not the same, like for me, when I transferred, and I went to my first school. I went to Bowie State before I transferred to JMU.
Right.
I mean, I knew I missed out because I would go party at JMU. You know what I'm saying? I had to physically go there to see what I was missing, or what it was different. Yeah. But I didn't have the lens on my phone. So that, and then I knew what I was missing. Like, oh man, that's the school I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
But you're saying this was mostly like through social media.
Yeah.
But you didn't go some college tour and just visit on the weekends, or go to another school on the weekends.
This was the main school that I went to come visit. Mason was the main school when I come visit.
Come visit while you were at when you were at Nova, you'd come over here and visit. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then, how seamless was the process from getting from Nova to here? Like, when I say seamless, like, was it just like easy because your application was good and your transfers were good? It was seamless, or did you experience any difficulty getting here, transferring here?
The main difficulty was waiting for that exception letter.
You had to wait. Because it wasn't like, when you think you have the guaranteed admissions kind of thing, like, you're like, okay, I got it, so I don't need to worry.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, I want to actually see it for myself.
Oh, that's just impatience, bro. But you knew that you hit the
I hit the mark.
You hit the marks and all that. And so, but you were still like, I want to know.
Yeah, I just wanted to validate. I just wanted for my self-validation.
Yeah, got you.
Yeah.
So when did you put it in and when did you find out? When did you put the application in and when did you find out?
I put the application in what was it? I put the application in, I forget when, but it was sometime in January.
January is when you found out?
January's, I forgot the timeline. So I put the application in August.
Yep.
I didn't find out until November.
Okay, that's a couple months. I feel that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, when you find out, you're actually still in the classes and still got to go about, or you were done.
Funny story.
Yeah.
So during that fall semester, I didn't take any classes then.
So did you just work at the library?
No,
Lifting heavy books?
I did that for a little bit, but after I graduated from Nova, I didn't really work at all.
So what'd you do during that gap time? What'd you do between
preparing?
Prepare for what? How you prepare?
Having the money there.
Oh, that's what I said. You prepared money wise.
Money wise, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like you was taking like Kanakami and like tutoring yourself and preparing. No, you meant like prepare your money,
preparing my pocket and stuff.
Get your pockets right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you had this time between to say, okay, I want to go to Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I put my application in, but I'm not doing anything. I'm just saving. But you're saving money.
Yeah.
But you're not working. So how are you saving money?
I got a job at
there you go.
The movie theater.
So you got another job, getting a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Because are you paying for this on your own, like class per class or loans or what? What money? When you said I need to prepare financially, what were you ready to pay for?
I was ready to pay for like the parking stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
Parking, books and all that stuff. My mom did the tuition and everything.
Gotcha.
Like
Who gave you the guidance on what you needed to save money for?
My mom.
Gotcha. Because like sometimes when I got to college, I didn't know what bills you had. I looked at my thing. I was like, activities fee. Like I didn't know what half of this stuff was.
Right. Yeah.
But now I do because now I'm an adult.
Yeah.
So you're preparing. You got the money.
Right.
You found out you got in.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
The world, now you're in paradise. I'm just joking. But so you get here the first day.
Yeah.
Step on ground.
Uh-huh.
What was your first, maybe even the first instinct that a new student orientation, did you already feel like I'm a Mason? Is it called Masonite? Did you feel like that? Like I felt
Patriot?
Like that's what it is.
Patriot?
I thought Masonite. Yeah. So like, did you feel like it like day one, or you felt like you had to grow into it? Because
I had to grow into it.
because I would even say like, I went to JMU.
Yeah.
And when I transferred there, I literally didn't feel like the positive was that my girlfriend who became my wife was already there.
Congratulations.
I already had a social group.
Yeah.
So I just jumped in and joined the group. I'm outgoing, but I still didn't feel like I was Duke dog.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know I had to get my ID card. And
Yeah.
I got to go to D Hall. I'm like, what hall? Like I just I didn't know things.
Right.
It took me a full semester to feel like I belonged there.
Right.
Like a full semester.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you feel like a patriot off the break?
Similar thing as to your story, but without the wife part and everything.
She wasn't my wife then, though. She was my girl. But yeah, I got you.
So first impressions of when I came to Mason.
Yeah.
Stepped on grounds after orientation.
Afterwards,
Literally all rain and everything like that. First class. Went to my first class. Very bunched up. A lot of people. So it took me a little while to adjust.
What were some adjustment things?
Yeah.
Like volume. Like what were some of the things that you needed to adjust to? And I'm already going to predict some of the things you're going to say because I can remember similar to what I felt was like smaller school to a big school.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
This is a big ocean.
Oh, yeah.
I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember like the classes at Bowie is a smaller school. Mm-hmm. But I went to my first Gen Ed class at JMU, a Gen Ed history class. It was like 300 people in the class.
Right.
But, I mean, it was such a Gen Ed class that they even had like the breakout discussion groups where that was like a small group of 20. But that was the first. I was like, yo, this is a college class for real. It was in an auditorium lecture hall.
Right.
And I was like, wow, like I'm one of 300 in this class. I mean, it literally was that adjustment from you're in the big league kind of thing. That's what it felt like. And that really was intimidating. I remember at Bowie, I adjusted a little bit better where I was killing it in the grades. And I was doing really well. And then I was like, wow, this is actually harder. Like,
oh my God.
This school's harder. So what was some of your factors that you had to adjust to?
The main factors that I had to adjust to was getting used to going to class, So when I would go at Nova, I would basically park near the building that I had to go to class at.
Yeah, real close.
Here, I didn't get a chance to do that because the exit that I needed to take was at the far end of campus. So Lot K is where I had to park all the time.
Because that's where you had to pay for it. It's the one you could afford was that Lot K.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, the general parking permits, I had to pay for that. But Lot K was the closest parking lot that I could park in. So to get to the turn that I needed on 123, because I still live in Woodbridge, so I had to take that exit.
Oh, you're talking about getting off campus?
Getting on and off campus.
Yeah, but you also now you're thinking about, like you said, like, I used to think about that too, or just in general.
Yeah.
Okay, class is at 9:30. I just need to be on campus by 9, park, and then whatever.
Yeah.
But here you're like, oh man, I gotta be here like at 8:30 just to find a parking space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just to get to a 9:30 class.
Oh yeah.
And that's the adjustment from the similar thing as volume.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing with JMU. Like parking was crazy. And I'm saying this because it was volume. Like there was just so many people.
Yeah.
Everywhere was just more. You know what I'm saying? Like just more people.
Right. Yeah.
And so you had to take into account how you're gonna get to class, what's the time.
Yeah. And what are the best shortcuts to get to class?
Yeah, or adjust to like when you say you're gonna be somewhere, add an extra hour just to get on campus.
Yeah.
There's some of the similarities for transfers. And I think that's a hard adjustment because that also just affects how you study and
it does, yeah.
One time you're gonna get home. You say you gotta still get home because when you're at the community college, you can just go straight to the school. It's real close. Go back home. This you gotta take like at least just
an hour,
40 hour just to get to the campus.
Right.
And then when you get home, that whole hour to get home after that, get adjusted to the work and do the schoolwork.
Yeah.
But also additionally, the schoolwork's a little bit harder.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So what was the main obstacle that you had that like made you say, wow, this is a lot more difficult? For instance, for me, it was getting that first semester of class and say, wow, I didn't get as great grades as I did the first 2 years at the other school.
Right.
And then I had to change my study habits and step it up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
What about you? What were some things that you noticed?
Greatest obstacle for me, still have it, is getting over the fact that I have these many classes with with X amount of assignments to do. Whereas in Nova, it was like, this is the assignment that's due this day. These are the classes that have no homework.
Yes. Yeah. For real. Keep it real. Yes. Yeah.
Because in Nova, I didn't really get much homework.
Yeah, sure.
Most of my homeworks was just memorizing the textbook and stuff like that.
Yes.
Here, it's more application, so I have to apply that textbook knowledge to the problem.
Yeah.
And see like how I can do this.
Yep.
There are some classes that I just bombed in. Didn't really do as well as I wanted to. At Nova, there was a little bit of leeway with professors and everything like that. I could ask them like, can I get a little bit more time just to finish this assignment? Whereas in here, it's like it has to be done by this time with these specific details. I'm like, okay, that's yikes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And do you ever wish that the Nova teachers would have been harder on you to make you more prepared for that, or you just felt like, because like sometimes you're like, damn, I wish that person would have been a little bit more strict. But then you say like, first of all, you can't, it's like saying like they made this, their choices made me this way, but you should have been, like not saying you should have been, but just in general, like I can't blame other people. I should have been preparing myself for it, but
it's
just
mostly me, so I had to prepare myself for it.
Yeah. So that was a very hard obstacle. What are some ways that you've been doing to address that? To make sure that you know that there's more than one assignment for every class and manage all those tasks as you have task volume?
Write it down on a spreadsheet.
You have a spreadsheet now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Write it down on a spreadsheet. I make sure I have all the assignments that I need done by these particular dates.
Yep.
Most of the assignments are online.
Yep.
So I just go in there, log into Blackboard, see what assignments I need.
Yep.
Go on that specific assignment, just finish it, and write it down, and make sure I mark it on my spreadsheet to make sure it's done.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
So did you learn that on your own, or did you use some like get a tutor or something?
Learned it on my own.
You learned it on your own.
Did it on my own. Yeah.
Dang. So I see all these different things. Was there any adjustment from community college to here for your family, for your mom? Did she have to adjust to anything?
At Nova, she didn't really have to pay for anything.
Yeah,
because I did it myself.
Yeah.
With the work study and stuff.
Yeah.
So with work study, they basically paid for my classes, and I just had to make sure I worked to get that money back so that I can put it into classes again. At Mason, it was a lot more. It was like double the tuition fee that I was paying at at Nova. So my mom had to basically see and calculate how much money I should get, what classes I should take, and stuff.
I got that. I feel that. So, do you feel like the system between the 2-year and 4-year is setting you up for that, or you wish? What would you suggest would make people more prepared for that? Like, do you think they should cost the same? Like, do you feel like it's a setup? That's my question. Do you like, okay, for instance, and let's be real, like a 4-year to a 4-year is not much of a setup.
Yeah.
I went to a 4-year institution, so it was a 4-year college to another 4-year.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be quite honest, my experiences while experiencing, volume and more classes and stuff, it still was like not a whole different world. But I would say, in a strong assumption that from what I experienced working at a community college and working here, that there is more of a black and white different world feel.
It is, yeah.
And for me, I feel like it's somewhat a setup, but at the same time, I love the community college because it makes education accessible.
It is.
I love that. Yeah. And I love it makes it accessible to the 4-year. The only thing that I throw kind of shade, not saying shade, but the thing I do find that while we make it very accessible at the 2-year to get to the 4-year, I feel like it's like almost, I get that feeling too, like we're taking people from one pond and throwing them into the ocean without mini boats.
Yeah.
Without light vest and, you know.
Life vest. You just have to figure it out.
You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just said it.
That's basically it. That's basically how I feel.
Yeah.
So
talk about that.
At Nova, they do prepare you for the 4-year 4-year journey here at a 4-year college, but at a 2-year college, they're more like on top of you, you know. Whereas in like let's sit down and talk about what we can do to get this assignment done, or see what we can do to make sure that your 4-year transition is very easy, very efficient and stuff.
Yeah.
Where going straight from high school to a 4-year, you're in this waiting period of like, am I accepted? Am I not accepted?
Yeah.
Did I make the marks and everything like that?
Yeah.
Am I prepared enough for it?
Yeah.
So that's like basically being thrown from a lake into an ocean, or like a river and into an ocean, you know?
Yeah, it's just volume.
Yeah.
And I think, I mean, you know, and you know, not going into specifics, you know, not to say individual programs, but we know that that's the biggest wave. Like, this is literally, if you want to get a job in higher ed, they're putting so much money in transitional education experiences, because they know that there's millions and millions of people out there that are going back to college. First of all, these issues about the transition from community college to a 4-year is relatively new, because education has become more accessible than ever.
Yeah.
Right? There's
right.
not that many people even went to community college. But now everyone goes to community college.
Right, yeah.
And so I think there's actual programs and initiatives to face that. But I think, I'm not saying it's too late. I think this is the groundwork. Like, this needs to be done, because your story, I'm not saying it's not unique, but it is not. It's unique, but not unique, because I think everyone's story and their journey, your life is unique.
Yeah.
But that story is heard so many times.
Yeah.
Of like, wow, like, this is a different world, man. Like, I wish I could have got the same support with the individualization at this 4-year to get support. Because I don't know, it's just, I feel like the overall education system as a whole has kinks in it. Nothing's perfect. And I think
there's a lot of defects in it.
I think one of the defects is cost. It's so expensive.
My God.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much, you know, do you ever look at your bill and see what you're paying money for?
All the time.
What are you paying money for? Let's go down it. We got books, we got tuition. What else we got?
Parking.
Yep. What else? We got that activity fee. I don't even know what that is.
Well, no.
The gym one.
The gym, that comes with the tuition.
I thought it comes in the activities or something.
I think it comes with the tuition.
All right, so we got parking.
Sure. Yeah.
We got that.
Yeah.
We got food, if you want to pay for a meal plan.
If
you live on campus, residence,
have
housing.
a meal plan. Yeah.
So it's like all those, man. It's like, it's not just like books.
It's
Books is separate
books
to
take
tuition.
up most of it. Classes and books take up most of it. Yeah.
But it's just crazy. Like, that's like on paper. When you look on paper and you look at how much the cost of a house is, or you do item line, like you're in business.
Yeah.
Let's
Here's the funny part.
Let's do
Go ahead. So when I looked at my estimate bill on Mason, it said the cost for tuition is like $1,000, so something like that. I don't remember distinctly. Then it said books is like $500 or something like that.
Yep.
Right there, I get scared. Like, what am I gonna do here? How am I gonna pay for class? How am I gonna pay for my books?
Yeah.
How am I gonna pay for the rest of that if I don't have enough?
Yeah, man. It makes you want to like just get a GoFundMe. Or like,
honestly.
Yeah, or something. I looked at that too. Like, when you look at like bills, like I felt the same experience. I think undergrad I kind of floated a little bit, and my parents helped me out a little bit. I had a little part-time job at Food Line, but I realized that's when I had the mixture of going to grad school and paying rent, you know, my apartment and car bill and phone bill, and then add on all those other things that are college bills. Yeah, I was like, Jesus, man, I'm broke. Like, and then I'm broke just to get a job. And, you know, I need this education. I'm broke, and then I'm broke afterwards.
There's no way.
There's like, how am I still broke at the beginning, and like I'm broke before, during, and after. I'm still broke.
Right.
Just different levels broke.
Right.
Like, like I'm a broke student. No, I'm a broke pre-student. I'm broke student, and then I'm a broke adult with bills, because now I have a job, but I'm still paying back stuff that I had like accumulated, like loans and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like it's crazy. It's just money.
Yeah. But thank God I paid off my student bill for Nova.
Oh,
Yeah,
man, that's a good thing.
I paid that off.
And I think that's the value of taking that time and going to a 2-year is that you said that, like,
Yeah.
okay, at least I knocked out 2 years.
Yeah.
And now
I
I'm
did.
focusing on this 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So would you advise, what would be the factors, when people are like, man, 4 years is the best way, that's the way. Like, when you look at someone, how would you determine whether someone, not even saying like someone that has good grades. I'm talking about, let's put on paper these factors. They have good grades.
Mm-hmm.
Student A and B both have good grades.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you tell student A and B to take into account whether student A and B do both have good grades to whether go to Nova or go to or any community college or go straight to the 4-year? What would you tell them to think about?
I tell them to look at like taking a factor of reality.
Okay.
And I don't want to be. I hate being blunt and stuff like that, but
Yeah,
look at
reality.
the reality of look at your situation.
Yeah.
How is your financial situation?
Yep.
If you're good, if your parents say we're gonna pay for everything,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Then you're free to go to a 4-year college.
Yeah.
But if your parents are struggling, like my parents were, they're still struggling now.
Yeah.
I highly recommend doing the 2-year program or
Yeah.
the 2-year to get your associates 2 years, and then transfer to a 4-year college.
Now, also, would you encourage someone? What would you tell them to do both ways? What would you tell them? What's the first thing to think about beyond the money part? What's the first thing you should think about when you get to Nova? With that mindset, I'm not going to get out of here.
Yeah.
And what would be the first thing you would tell someone the first day they got to the 2-year? So 2 first. So what would you tell them if they got in Nova, they made that decision? What's the first thing you would tell them to do?
The first thing I would tell them to do, I would just tell them. That's a good question, actually.
Would you tell them to automatically know what program you're interested in, or what? Or you tell them explore?
No, I'd say explore for like your first semester.
Okay.
But make sure by the end of your second semester, you're solid on what program you want.
And when you say what program you want, what program?
Program of study.
I know program of study at Nova. You want them to already have the vision after the first semester. The program of study at the 4-year.
The program of study at the 4-year.
So think about backwards. You're going to go backwards from that point. You're going to
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
okay, I really like my first semester. I like it. Now I'm looking at what degrees at the 4-year I like. Then I'm going to work my way backwards and start taking the appropriate classes
For that 4-year.
for that 4-year
Yeah.
at
Nova.
Nova.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's basically what I did. That's what my pathway counselor told me.
Yeah.
Look at what Mason has
Yep.
and try to and take the equivalent of Mason at Nova.
Got it.
But with Nova, they have their own standards. They have their own classes that you have to meet. So you have to
Yes.
do those first before you do the
100%.
4 years.
Okay. And now, going back in the time machine,
Yeah.
what would be the first thing you would tell someone to do as soon as they step foot at the 4-year institution?
First thing I would do is find a tutor.
Okay.
Find a personal tutor. Find a friend that you can study with.
Okay.
Because 4-year colleges are really, really about time management, and you
Yeah.
have to know. You have to have good time management,
Yep.
and you have to figure out a plan of like what assignments you need to do, when you need to do them, when you need to sit down, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
find a good friend that you can study with, maybe a classmate, maybe someone, maybe like a group study session.
Like
Figure
get
that
adjusted,
out.
get it like day one.
Yeah.
Start attacking academic goals.
Yeah.
Like because like it's gonna be a different challenge.
Oh yeah.
And I think you're saying about the time management. Like now you have to think about like you just got here. Think about how long it takes you to get on campus and park and all that.
Yeah,
too, In addition to that,
Mm-hmm.
that's some good advice. I was thinking like to think about it. And you're saying you're adjusted, and we say this now. When you look forward now, are you looking at job for yourself or going to more school?
Job for myself.
You want to get to work.
Yeah.
Okay, that was pretty. I don't really have a. I thought I was going to say grad school. And I was like, what program? I had no follow up.
Yeah.
I was thinking about a follow up. Oh, okay, so
But I'm also thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Masters, but I want to make sure my financial situation's good before I do that.
so financial is the driver.
Yeah.
What's one of your main factors about what you're going to do next? Is it more like what I like to study or what I can afford in money?
What
Is
I want to study.
Huh?
It's what I want to study.
So you're still interested in academic pursuits and stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
yeah. I always want to learn.
Yeah.
I don't care about the money. Money's not a factor to me. Well,
It's not a factor in your decisions of what you want to do to pursue.
Yeah.
Money is just the realistic blunt one, right?
realistic blunt one that I have to like.
So you
figure out
balance
how
you
to put
balance it. Like you still have goals and ambitions, but it needs to be checked by financial reality.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say I gave you no restrictions. I gave you $1 million, but I say with this $1 million, you have to go to grad school. What program would you pick?
I would pick something in the lines of like IT and business IT. So more
Okay.
like data architecture, data
Yeah.
science.
Why?
I like to manipulate data.
Okay. I'm gonna have to send you some numbers. I don't know. I got random numbers for my podcast.
Right, yeah.
I'll send them to you. See what you think.
Okay.
So no restrictions.
Yeah.
You're going to use that program for masters. How about additionally, no restrictions, no monetary restrictions. You just do it because you're interested in it. What would be a cool job you would want to have?
A cool job that I want to have?
Yeah, that you don't have to worry about. Let me do I call it the snap. The Thanos snap. Like you already had the education, you already had the skills. Like you literally just wake up the next morning and you're doing it. We don't have to worry about the in between how you got there. You're just doing it. What would be one of those jobs?
Business analyst.
What do they do? I don't even know what they do.
So a business analyst gets like the business architecture of like their certain company.
Yeah.
And they like analyze it, make sure all the requirements that they gather from like the end client,
Yeah.
they are matching, or like they're good, so that we can make sure that it's being tested and stuff like that. Then make sure that we can test it for the end user.
Dope. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, as a dream job, you're working. I'm just joking. Like that's a dream job, but you're technically gonna be able to do that. I thought you were gonna pick something crazy like a spaceship rocket scientist
no.
on the moon. On the moon.
That's I need to have a PhD for that one. You know.
I told you it's Thanos snap though. I told you don't worry about no PhD. You can just do it.
I'm trying to be realistic here. I want to try and save.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm gonna do.
I told this dude. I just told you had a dream job, and you just told me I'm being realistic. I told you it's a dream. It could be unrealistic.
Still, I'm trying to save here.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. So
Plus,
business
there
analyst.
is this other dream that I have that
What's
I
the
want
other
to
one?
like do something with physical fitness in my home country.
Back to Bangladesh.
Yeah, back in Bangladesh.
How
I
often-
want to do something for that.
So technically, you can do both because you make enough money to do it because you need money to do that.
Yeah. I can do that.
So how often have you gone back to Bangladesh?
Not often. The last time I went was 2 years ago.
Well, it's more than some people I've known that never gone back home.
Yeah,
How frequently then? Like if it's 2 years ago, how is it? Like every 2 years, every 3, like every 4 years?
No. The other time besides the last 2 years, I went back when I was like 10 years old.
Okay, that's a long gap. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I don't know, now we're kind of reaching a good point in the podcast, which I call it shot for shot.
Okay.
So shot for shot, no, we're not drinking alcohol or playing basketball because we're not doing. I'm good at alcohol.
I don't drink at all. So.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Don't save your liver, children. So shot for shot is you get to ask me any question you want, not even related to this,
Right.
and I get to ask you any question I want,
Mm-hmm.
and answer. That's probably why we call it shot for shot. So you go first.
So this is like shoot your shot or something like that.
Oh no, I mean it's just like ask me something you're curious to my answer.
So when you started this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
What was your vision for it?
I love it. I love that answer. Okay, so as you know, I do a lot of random stuff, so I really didn't have a vision. So I think it's a great question.
Yeah.
No, so like most of my things, I just go backwards. I say I want to do it, and then I create vision for it afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
I had no. I didn't even think it was gonna make it past a year. Honestly, it was just the idea. Like I used to do YouTube videos in my car, like motivate.
Oh my god!
But it was like Motivational Monday. I would put I call them random thoughts of Philip Wilkerson.
Right.
Random ramblings.
Uh-huh.
I still have them. I might send you. It literally is a YouTube. And I would just sit in my car and I would just ramble about stuff.
Right.
Like what I was thinking about. But most of it I was trying to be positive. Like it was my like it was almost like me talking to myself and saying I'm gonna get motivated to go into work. So I would say things like, chase your dreams. It's Monday.
I like that.
But then I realized it's boring. It's boring as hell because I'm not a real vlogger. I didn't do, cool transitions.
Right,
I didn't, I literally was just sitting in my car. I was like, this is boring. So I was like, maybe it's better if I just rip the audio and do a podcast because, I'm basically doing this, sitting and talking, but there's no need for a video. So I asked my friend, I said, hey, I heard there's a thing called podcasting, which I didn't know was that old. Podcasting has been around for 15 years. So I said, hey, I want to do a podcast. My boy Sam Nang was like, yo, my boy in California has a podcast. Give him a call. I said, okay. I gave him a call. My man, Dean Bakari, I call him my podcast mentor. He literally just walked me through one day how to do it, and then I did it. And then you say vision-wise, I was like, the only thing I thought about was like, I want to at least just record. I think I said I just want to stick with it for a year.
Oh, okay.
That was my first. That was like literally my first and only goal.
Okay.
But it wasn't organized, strategic or nothing. I would just randomly record, randomly upload, all that stuff. I didn't have no like I'll do it every Monday and this and that, and I'll do an Instagram, channel for
Right.
Instagram.
Yeah.
No, it was literally just I hope I can record enough for a year. So my vision for this podcast is just molded over time. It just naturally happened over time.
So it's just like
I have a vision for it now.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
I have a clear vision and
Okay.
business goal and 5-year plan or whatever. I mean, not business goals, but 5-year plan.
Okay.
I have numbers I want to hit.
Right. Yeah.
But that's because I got together with organized people. Shout out to Christy. She was like, "What do you want to do with this podcast?" I was like, I don't know. And then she's like, "Did you ever think about doing it weekly?" I said, "I guess so." I had people that had more clear. So my vision has become a lot clearer. But when I first started, I was just like, I just don't want to be in my car no more.
Right.
That was it. I don't want to be in my car no more. Doing it.
I can understand that.
So some people, I think some people are visionaries where they have very set goals when they start.
Yeah.
Some people are like me where they just kind of fall into things and kind of
me too,
stumble
honestly.
it as they go along. And
Yeah.
I figure out, like literally my first goal is just to do it.
Yeah.
And it sucks at first. My first podcast, my quality is getting better because I learned what I want to do to get better. But I just do stuff.
Yeah.
And then I figure out vision and plans
Yeah.
on the back end.
So you are a doer more than like.
I mean, that was like literally, I could
thinker.
literally equate that to my transfer experience.
That's exactly what
I just want to transfer and get out of here and go to my school. And
Yeah.
then like, do you know what you want to study? I guess I'll do business. I literally just said that. And then I took a history class and I was like, well, I like this.
Yeah.
And I switched to history.
Right,
But it was
yeah.
just literally like, if you asked me what was my vision as a freshman, I was like, I have no vision. I just wanted to go to college. That was it. Like, I just wanted to go to a school.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a good question. All right, I got one for you.
What's up?
Mr. Reality. But I'm not going to talk. I'm going further. All right. So you were from Bangladesh, right?
Right.
If you can go back, I love giving you money questions. If I gave you $5 million, I feel like that's enough to do a lot of stuff. If I gave you $5 million, but you had to use that $5 million to do a project in Bangladesh, like you can't use that $5 million and buy a yacht. You have to do it in a philanthropic, whatever. You had to do it to help people.
Yeah.
to do a project.
Philanthropy.
There you
something
go.
like that.
You had to do that in Bangladesh, though.
Yeah.
What would you do with that $5 million in Bangladesh?
So what I would do, I have this very faint idea of like starting a fitness regime or fitness school where I can like get a bunch of guys and girls that want to do something with sports or something to better themselves, their diet plans and stuff like that. I want to be able to help them realize that eating whatever they want is not a good idea, you know? Because in Bangladesh, we have a lot of sweets and stuff like that. We eat a lot of sweets. What is going on?
Yeah, it's good. Okay.
They eat a lot of sweets, but they don't see the internal effects that it's having in their body until they hit like your age or
right. What's my age? You're gonna say my age. You go guess how old I am.
Guess how old you are?
Yeah, guess how old.
Somewhere in your 30s.
Okay, good. I was about to say, damn, you're gonna say my age like I'm 40. I'm not young. I'm old now. But I get your point. Little kids.
But like
till they old as me.
For example, when a man hits their early 30s, late 30s, they start to get like, you know, a beer belly or something like that.
Yeah, Howard, I got a kick. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
You can't eat as much, your metabolism, but you want to do this with this money. You want to invest in the kids early on diets and stuff.
Yeah.
In this dream scenario, $5 million school, is it a sports academy where they go to class and then play a sport?
Yes.
So is it like one of those things where they train for like the Olympics?
Well, no, not exactly. But it's like, it's not really a school. It's more like an after-school type of activity.
There you go. So it's an after-school facility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got you.
So it's like,
there's not that many. So the equivalent of such is YMCAs and community centers. Are there the equivalent of that in Bangladesh?
not as much.
There you go.
So I want to build something that's like big enough so that it can incorporate the local kids that are around there. Plus, I want to help the poor there.
Yeah. So you want to do this in a popular, not popular, but a high SES area. You'd want to do it in a low. What would be a town you would do this visionary project?
Good question.
Or where's your town? Where are you from?
Well, I was born in the city.
But you would want to do this outside the city.
Outside the city, yeah.
All right.
Somewhere where it's like there's no pollution, stuff like that. None of the kids can get sick. We can do stuff. They don't need to be like crowded by too many people.
Yes.
So I want to be able to do it in like an open field where I can like play with the kids, guide them through and stuff like that.
So you want to have this school, after school program in Bangladesh. Mm-hmm. More than one though, but start with one. Mm-hmm. Helping them with fitness, diets, getting them healthy habits that will carry on into their adulthood. Yeah. Dope. Well, see, that's a clearer vision than I've had. Yeah. That's a lot of. I mean, with $5 million, okay, I told you didn't have to do.
There's also a lot of politics involved, so I want to get through all the politics.
You had to pay people off. I'm just joking with you.
I mean that does happen.
No, I'm just joking. I'm just joking. But with that $5 million, there's probably lots of other expenses. Yeah. And you don't have to use all $5 million to do philanthropic thing. No, I'm not. I can't even spell that word. But philanthropic. Yeah. Philanthropic. Yeah. But I think that's a great vision. I think that I always thought about when you give back, with that money, it pays forward because it's also going to help a whole generation of people. Yeah. That's pretty dope. Yeah. All right. If you're hearing this podcast and you got $5 million, give it to my man. All right. So this is the part of the show. We're wrapping up. I call this part of the show shout outs and plugs, meaning the floor is yours, meaning whoever you want to shout out, give them some love. And then plugs. Plugs means if you have anything that you want the listeners to be aware of that you're doing or follow you on LinkedIn, put your LinkedIn, I don't know, whatever you feel comfortable with, because I'm putting it in the show notes. The floor is yours. Shout outs and plugs.
All right, so shout out to my man Philip Wilkerson right here. Yeah. Great podcast, man. I love to be here. Love to do it again sometime. Yeah. I also want to shout out my parents because they deserve all the credit that for transforming me into the man that I am today. Granted, I am still looking for a new job. Yeah, there you go. So, they formed me into the person that I am today. Also, shout out to my whole family, man. There you go. Love you guys. Gang. Yeah. Plus, I want to shout out a good friend of mine named JP Garces. He's another really good friend of mine. Gives me advice and stuff like that. Gives me on a good reality check sometimes because sometimes my imagination goes off the rails, and he brings me back to like is this really what you want to do and stuff like that. So I appreciated him for that one. And his wife too, because shout out to him. Shout out to him.
JP is already married. Okay, cool. Yeah. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he used to go here too. But yeah,
that's some good shout outs. Now, is there anything that you want the listeners to be aware of that you're working on?
I'm not really working on anything right now other than getting a job, getting like a good IT job. So I'm looking into getting into software testing. So if you know anyone, please hit them my way.
On LinkedIn. I'll put your LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn, yeah.
I'll put your LinkedIn in the show notes. Right, they can follow with you and hit you up with IT. Yeah. Well, it's been a pleasure. I think this episode has been really helpful to the students, particularly in the transfer students, because as we know, they can listen to this episode and realize that they're not alone in a lot of the transitional struggles that they have. Yeah. And I think they learned some good tips about some things they should probably be aware of. Yeah. Particularly look at what you're paying your money and look at the actual bill and think about how you're going to afford it. So I appreciate you being assertive to get on this podcast, but also appreciate you come into the podcast with a good topic that I think will help a lot of people. Positive Filter listeners, you know where to listen to the episodes: iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, all those things. If you like this episode, give it a review, a like, share this episode with your family and friends. That's how the podcast grows. If you have any questions for the podcast, either visit the website, which you can now leave voicemails directly on the website, or give a call to 571-336-6560. That's the podcast hotline. All that's in the show notes. Stay positive, keep loving other people, keep on doing good things, and we out.
See ya. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Positive Filter, a podcast that focuses on family, friends, career, with a little self-help along the way. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it with your family and friends, and like the Facebook page, Spreading Positivity of Movement. Thanks for listening.